Hi everybody, it's Natasha Lee, or aka the Photo Manager, and I'm very excited to share with you how I'm going to be making my 2024 Family Yearbook. A couple of years ago, I came across a very interesting concept known as Project Life, and it was actually coined or put together by an American lady by the name of Becky Higgins, and it really created an interesting way for people to document a year in their life. And what they did is that they either sort of documented each day, or they would do each week as a double page spread. And I absolutely love this idea. I came across lots of different examples, and I then went on to actually scrapbook Project Life for a couple of years, 2018, 2019 and 2020, I think. One of my favorite scrapbooking people, digital scrapbooking especially, is a lady by the name of Ali Edwards, and she has a website that sells digital scrapbooking products which are ideal for using for Project Life. And in this whole world of Project Life and documenting your year week by week, you get different schools. You get the physical scrapbooking, and nowadays everybody is happy with photo books because they're slim, they can fit on your shelves, and they just make the perfect solution to capturing and recording a year. So that's what I'm going to be doing, is doing my 2024 year week by week. All it involves is choosing about 8 to 10 images and putting together a double page spread. But the beauty of the Project Life approach is that you get to put more than just the pictures. You can add as little or as much text as you'd like, so that throughout the year you're actually telling the stories of the big and small moments. Okay everybody, let's dive in. So I'm going to go here to create a design, and I would like a custom size. So I click on custom size. The print company's dimensions will be a 300 by 300 millimeter page. Make sure you check with your print company, and then my page will open. I'd like to add some rulers and a grid. So if you go to File, View Settings, you can add rulers and grids, which you'll see will come in a bit useful. And I'm very familiar with Project Life, and I'm going to be using a typical layout. So I'm going to Elements and Grids, and over here I'm going to be finding some tools that will help me to do the job pretty quickly. So my first template that I'm looking for is a template with 3 images that go across. Here it is. So I'm going to be pulling that template in. You need to make sure you pull it in on all the corners. And then the second column, I need an individual image, which is going to be up here in the corner. And this is a pretty standard Project Life layout that I'm recreating here. And I'm just going to give you a few tips on how to do that pretty quickly. Okay, so with this grid, what's important here is that with the grids, the spacing is determined by over here, spacing. So I'm picking a spacing of 10, and now what I'm wanting to do is to match all these other spacing on the document to that. So I'm going to zoom in just so that I can see. I've eyeballed this, but it's pretty accurate, that the spacing here is similar to the rest of the spacing. And I'm going to duplicate this box and paste it over there, and then I think this is pretty much I'm happy with that. Let me just zoom in a bit closer just to make sure that I am getting all of these the correct size. This looks a little bit short for me. I can pull in a guide over here to check that I've in fact got these lines all correct. Looks pretty close to me. So we're all good to go. Okay, so now I've decided that this is the layout that I'm going to be using for my first page. The next step that I need to do is to bring in the images for my project. I'm just removing those guides. Okay, so I am a pro member, so I'm able to create a project and create a folder and give it a name. So I'm going to do 2024 yearbook source, and I'm going to create that, and that will show over here. I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to upload the images. Now I have put those images onto the desktop of this computer, so I do suggest you do that. Put all your images into a place where you can easily find it, and it is a good idea to check the resolution of the images. So here I can see this image is only 169 kilobytes. My husband and I's one is 2.9, and my other son is 379. The resolution's pretty low because they've WhatsApped it to me. So it's important that I keep the images small in the design because of the low resolution. Okay, so I'm bringing in the images, and now I'm going to start doing my design. To be honest, I did do this before because being the first one, it took me quite long, and I wasn't really happy to do that live. But what I decided for the front page was that I was going to show where each of us were at this sort of at the end of last year, beginning of 2024. Because unfortunately, my boys were both away and we were all in different parts of the country. I need a title card that's going to say 2024. So I'm going to go here to the elements, and I'm going to search for 2024. And we were actually on the road. So I'm going to see if there's anything nice that shows up under road. I can choose all graphics or photos. I'm going to click on photos, and this is the perfect image for me. So I'm going to click that, bring it in, reposition it, and I am so happy with that. I feel like that's going to be my establishing shot. We were on the road on that day, and so I'm very happy that I've got 2024. And I'd like to bring in the words hello 2024. So I'm going to grab a text box, and I'm going to position the text over here, and the font that I'm going to choose is one of Ali Edwards fonts. I think it's called CK, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, CK Ali's hand. And I'm going to write the word, let me just select all of this, and I'm going to write the word hello, as though I am ushering in 2024, and I would like that to be in white. So there's my hello 2024. Okay, let me carry on. I've got a couple of things to add. This is a beautiful card that I wanted to use, and this is a definition of the word focus, which is the one little word that I have chosen for myself for this year. In these two cards, I'd like a kind of background. So I'm going to go to elements, and I'm going to search there for just a sort of a neutral background. Let's see what comes up with that. Neutral background paper, and I will see all under the photos. And yeah, these are such pretty options, and I can't remember the exact one that I chose, but it was something that had a bit of a texture, so I think I'll go for something like that, or maybe this one here. I'm looking for something that's got a similar tone to this texture up here. Okay, there you go. That's all right. And then going back to what I had gathered beforehand, this was a quote that I found. And I'm going to bring that in on top of this paper. This is something that does happen often. When you drag it, it tries to drop it into the space. So I generally drag it here in between, and then use my arrow key to position the text in the right place so that it doesn't jump into the box itself. It looks like this is a little difficult to see on top of such a light background. So I'm going to see if there's any way for me to add a shadow to that text. I'm not quite sure if there is. I'll pick edit photo. And let me see if there is, here you go, shadows. So let's give that a try. Oh, okay, that doesn't look bad. That's also quite nice. I think I'll go with glow, but then I'm going to drop it down a little bit because I don't want it to be too strong. Yeah, that looks good. And then last thing I need to add is my one little word for the year, which was focus. And I'm going to go to an Instagram post that I did with that on it. And the nice thing about Canva is I can go here and I can copy something I've designed in one document, go back and then right click and paste, and this can now be moved into the document I'm working on now. And this is going to be my one little word, which is focus, and that's going to go in that box. And yep, I'm pretty happy with that. The only thing I feel now is that these photos are quite bright compared to this kind of neutral look I've got. So I'm going to click in the photo and go to edit photo, and then have a look at some of the filters and see if I can knock a little bit of the color out. So I quite like this one, fade. Yeah, that's definitely it. So I can go to each photo and I can apply a similar filter, and that'll give all the pictures on here a similar look and feel. Yeah, I'm much happier with that. And then lastly, I'd really like to reflect where we all were in different countries. So I'm going to look for a small banner. Let me see what I can find over here. Just something pretty neutral. Let me see all these graphic. Okay, that's perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pop a small banner on each picture where I'm going to write where we were, and I'd like that to be white, sticking with the colors that I've got. And if I like something, then I can copy it, drag it, and I think I'm going to sort of do an alternative side for each, and then I'm going to copy that again, and then pop down here, and then that one, that's the best spot for it over there. And then I just need to add a text box, and then drag the text, that can often happen, drag the text into this position. I'm going to need to change its color to black, and then I want to go for something very, very neutral, and I'd like to say where we were. I'm going to go for capitals. So we were in Stanford in the Western Cape, in South Africa. So I'm just going to select all of that, make it bold, make it much smaller, because I want it to fit in that little box that I've made, and perfect. And then because I've now created that size, I'm going to copy that text, drag it over to where my son is, and he is in a place called Tivet Bay in Montenegro. And lastly, my other son is in New York City, USA. Yep. And that's perfect. fix up is going to be this banner on the front here. So I think I'm going to need to move this text just for the minute, because I'm going to bring these 2 cards to the front, but then I will also need to bring this text element to the front as well. So I'm going to kind of just move that a little bit off there, and then on the text box, on the image box, I'm going to say bring to the front. Yep, that should do that. And then, no, I've somehow lost this element, so I need to bring this to the front. Yep, I think this is going to work. And then, yep, I'll position that back. So now at least the banner is behind that card. And the very last thing that I want to add is, because I'm going to be doing this project for 12 months, 52 weeks, 365 days, I'd like to add those numbers in. So I'm just going to drop one more text box in, and I'm going to, in this little gap over here, I actually would like something that looks a little bit like a typewriter if possible. So I'm just going to, put typewriter, and I'm going to go for this American typewriter, and I'm going to write in here, let's make it a bit larger so I can see. So it's going to be 12 months, 52 weeks, and 365 days. And I feel like that's a really nice thing to have on the title page of this project. There you go.